What's up, Jacksonville? Doc Tony. So listen, last week I told you I was going to start a series where I educate you, give you the information you need to know should you be injured or involved in a car accident. So the first part to that whole process is before you even have an accident. That's the best and only opportunity you have to truly look after yourself. Because the state of Florida, they're not going to look after you. And the person that could be responsible for the accident, meaning the guilty party, the at-fault party, they're not responsible for looking after you either. So if you're injured in a car accident, the only way to protect yourself and your family is you. You have to prepare and be prepared should you be involved in a car accident. So let's start off with talking about why you're in such danger in the state of Florida. Florida has some of the worst car insurance laws in the country, if not the worst. In other words, it's not looking after you in any way, shape, or form. So again, you're the only way to protect yourself is you. In fact, the minimal requirements in Florida, which is often mistaken for full coverage. You'll be amazed how many calls I get every day with individuals, people telling me, oh yeah, doc, I have full coverage. And then come to find out, all they have is the minimal required insurance in the state of Florida, which is $10,000 in property damage and liability and $10,000 in PIP. Y'all see that? It's important to understand. So this is the minimal required automobile insurance. Now let me break this down and what this means. Let's go through a scenario. You're sitting at a light and somebody hits you and they total your car. Your car is destroyed. You have neck pain, lower back pain, you're in all types of physical pain, as well as your property damage. Your car was destroyed, okay? You're not responsible for this. This property damage liability, if you have that insurance, that doesn't cover your car. That covers if you destroy somebody else's car. So let's say the person that hit you, they have the minimal required insurance. Your car is valued at $20,000. Well, you're only going to get $10,000. If you have a loan on that car, the insurance company is only going to give you $10,000. So you're $10,000 short, and the accident wasn't your fault. So you can see how real quickly things can get out of control and how your life can change dramatically from an accident if you're not prepared. So already off at an individual hitting you who had the required automobile insurance that's actually required by the state, you're already at a loss of $10,000. Your car's totaled. You're only going to get a check for $10,000. Now, the person that hit you has personal injury protection. That's to cover him or her. That's to cover the individual that hits you. That does not cover you. You're covered under your personal injury protection up to $10,000. And that'll cover you, that's your medical and any lost wages. So that personal injury protection is going to cover 80% of your medical and 60% of your lost wages, okay? And then it'll do it for the individual who hit you as well. Now, that $10,000, people, is going to go really quick, especially if your car was totaled. Chances are you sustained significant damage. You might even end up going to the ER. If you do that, $10,000 is gone. Now that's it. You have no more coverage for all the injuries that you sustained. There is no medical coverage. As far as the liability, the property liability, you're $10,000 in the hole in your car because his insurance company's only giving you $10,000. That's the required minimal. And if you don't have any type of insurance to protect yourself, right now you're going to be out of a loss for $10,000 in property damage. And whatever physical injuries that you sustain, you have no coverage for it because the individual that hits you, the at-fault party, has no insurance coverage other than the minimal insurance. So let's talk about now how you're going to protect yourself, okay? And I wrote these things out so you can write them down. People, listen, I encourage you to write this information down, call your agent, get together with your agent, and know what your insurance is. I'll repeat again. The only way to protect yourself is before the accident happens. Most individuals driving out there, a lot, let's not say most, but 50% of the people driving are either underinsured or they have no insurance at all. So the probability of you being involved in a car accident with somebody who has no insurance is pretty great in the state of Florida because it's not mandatory that people have bodily injury coverage. Now, people drive without insurance, I'm going to tell you something. You get a ticket for that or you have an accident, you think you're getting over by not paying for that insurance now, you wait to see what happens. You have an accident and you don't have insurance. And you try to get your license back, you'll have to have more insurance than you ever dreamed of. So don't think you're getting over if you're driving around without insurance. Because number one, it's really, this is how we protect each other. It's not morally correct to drive around without coverage because you're not looking after one another. And that's how insurance works. So let's talk about how to protect yourself. Let's start with the property damage. People, if you can't afford to replace your car, carry what's called collision. Purchase collision insurance. This will protect you, and it will pay for the damage that go above and beyond that $10,000. If your car is completely totaled, people, have what's called insurance, gap insurance. If they just have the $10,000 minimum, you owe 20, you're only getting the $10,000. You're short 10 grand. How many people can just come out of pocket 10 grand on a car that you're not using anymore? If you have that gap insurance, it's called being upside down on a loan. If you have a loan like that, purchase gap insurance, because financially it could change your life. I'll say again, people, your life can be changed financially, physically, in so many ways. In an instant, it's changed. And the only way to protect yourself is through insurance. So if you can't afford to fix that car, any damage that are above and beyond that $10,000, get collision. If you can't afford to cover that loan and pay that bank that you owe that money to, have gap insurance. And purchase extended PIP. I told you, the personal injury protection, that's that first one, that covers you if you're injured in a car accident, regardless of who's at fault. So get it, what's called, you can get extended PIP, purchase extended PIP, 50,000 to 100,000. Even if you're the person that's not at fault in the car accident, even if you have an attorney, it can take a while for that case to settle, people. It's not going to just happen overnight. That extended personal injury protection will help you get through the hard times. Cover you with, remember, it covers your lost wages and it covers your medical. So this is how you protect yourself. So I'm encouraging you to make sure you purchase extended PIP. And the other two that I want to make sure that you have is this. These are super important, people. Bodily injury and UM, okay? BI and UM. BI protects the person that you hit. If you're the at-fault party, you want to have bodily injury. You're protecting the individual or the people that you're responsible for the accident. I recommend getting a minimum of 100,000, 300. 100,000 a person, 300,000 an accident. If you have more assets, people, you have houses and properties and a lot of things, you know, that's not full coverage. Full coverage is up to you. You know, depending on your financial situation, you want to make sure that you have plenty of this bodily injury. People don't drive around without bodily injury. If you hit somebody, if somebody hit your family member, they didn't have insurance, you'd be upset. The only way it works and the society functions properly is when we all look after each other. And this is the proper way to do it. You cover bodily injury insurance. The state of Florida loves that we're all driving around without coverage. They don't care. They're hoping that you guys get in crashes and everybody has the minimal insurance. That way they're not having to do anything. They're not having to pay out anything. So don't think that they're just going to serve up this information. You need to dig and make sure that you have this type of coverage. And you'll be amazed, people, it's not expensive. It's not expensive. And in the long run, when you look at the catastrophic things that can happen, if you're not prepared, then let's talk about that expense, okay? So being well covered and having proper insurance, in the long run, when you factor everything in, it's not expensive to take care and ensure that your family and yourself are well protected. The last one, people, is uninsured motorists, because there's just going to be people out there who are not going to get the bodily injury coverage, or they're just going to drive without insurance. And if one of those individuals hits you and you don't have uninsured motorists, then all you have is your PIP. You have $10,000. This uninsured motorist will protect you against an uninsured driver or an underinsured driver. Let's say the person had the minimal required insurance, or even had a low bodily injury policy of, let's say, $10,000, and you have a $100,000 case. You know, that UM will cover the other $90,000. So this is how you protect yourself, people. Number one, let's repeat it really quick. $10,000 property damage and liability. That's not to fix your car, people. That's to fix the other car. You hit a car, you damage a car, and they'll get that property damage and liability, $10,000. You, if you don't have collision, no, your car, nothing happens. So if you can't afford to fix the car, people, have collision. PIP, personal injury protection. That's not for the person, that's for the at-fault person. This is what's called a no-fault. It doesn't matter who's at fault. Your PIP covers your injuries. Okay, people? Now, how do you protect yourself against underinsured drivers or people driving without any insurance at all, the property damage as well? So to protect yourself on the loss of your vehicle or your car, property damage, have collision. If you're upside down on a loan, have gap. That's it, people. You won't have to worry about nothing. The insurance will take care of everything. They don't always do this thing so smoothly. Remember, insurance companies aren't your friends. So regardless, if you're not at fault in a car accident, I always encourage you to seek professional legal counsel. And if you need help with that, Doc Tony provides you with all your accident needs, including attorneys that you can trust that you can count on, and that will call you back. It's a big problem. A lot of attorneys, they don't like to call people back. Okay, purchase extended PIP. Okay, remember, the PIP is $10,000. Sorry, Petey. The PIP is $10,000 in PIP. Okay, that'll go really quick, people. $10,000 and for lost wages. So if you have a case that's going to take a long time to go through the courts and settle, then you want to make sure you have this extended personal injury protection. 50,000 to 100,000 people. This will save your life. This will help you in so many ways. Now, how do you look after one another as well as yourself? Everybody should have bodily injury. Remember, the insurance companies don't want you having that. They want us all driving around and accidents happen. Listen, accidents happen, people. We don't live in utopia. It's going to happen. It doesn't make anybody a bad person. You're doing something wrong, different. But if just an accident that happens, listen, this happens all the time. But by having the proper insurance, we ensure that we're looking after each other. And that's what a healthy society is about, looking after each other. So get the bodily injury coverage, people. $100,000 a person, $300,000 an accident. And the same thing with the UM. You'll be surprised how many people I find out there that have this great coverage. They'll have bodily injury coverage, but their agent didn't sell them the uninsured motors. To me, that's criminal. You got great coverage for the other person, then of course that agent better sold you some insurance to protect yourself, and often they don't do that. Remember, insurance companies are slick. They're playing chess. They got everyone else playing checkers. Listen, people, the best time to protect yourself is before you have an accident. Always drive careful, pay attention. God forbid you ever have an accident, but if you do, call the doctor you can trust. God bless you all and enjoy your day.